Yo, what's up? Welcome inside the opening line. Corey and Benny coming at you on a lovely Friday. Rain clouds are going over here on the East Coast. Less windy. Was that wind bad out there in Jersey, Benny?
Yeah, it was real bad, man. The trees.
The water, so yeah.
Yeah, my neighbors have like these big, like whatever you call it, evergreen and Christmas trees, like the big Christmas tree. Like I'm talking like Rockefeller Center big, like 30, 40 feet in our backyard. I really thought that shit was coming through my window last night. It was leaning more than a tree is supposed to lean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You ever asked them to cut it down?
No, I actually like it. It's kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't mind them at all. Like they started out
in the summer.
Put it this way, the house I live in now, it's a two-family house. I live in the upstairs apartment now. When I was a kid, we lived in the downstairs apartment. So I've lived in the same house for 40 years.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, those were like little-ass Christmas trees, like, as big as me. And now, almost 30, 40 years later, they're these huge,
Yeah, all right.
20, 30, 40-foot trees in the backyard. So they're bigger than the houses. They're bigger than the apartment building across the way.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now a cool night last night outside of on a slump right now. Well, those college football unders all coming in. Those early in the week college football unders Wednesday, Thursday, they do hit. But I was parlaying them with the Yankees, and then the Rockets the other night when they played the Spurs, and the Spurs decided to have their best game of the preseason. So the boys in the slump right now can't hit the other side of the wood. But we try to get back on it tonight. We got a couple college football games. I'm done betting baseball, Benny. And mainly, I think that's because the team that I root for is more than likely taking a trip to Houston for pomp and circumstance tonight.
Is the Game 5 still in New York tonight?
That game's in New York?
Yeah, I'm almost positive that game's still in New York tonight.
3-2-3.
Not that it really matters, though. I kind of agree with you. I mean, going down 3-1 to this team, I really don't see the Yankees battling back. Again, I'm a big Yankee fan as well. And to me, the series was lost when they lost the extra inning game in Game 2. If you could have beat Verlander in Game 2 and gone up 2-0, going to face Garrett Cole, that was your chance to keep this a series. When they lost that game, I kind of had a feeling that this was going downhill. So it is what it is. It was a good year for the Yankees. It's going to go back to what I said at the beginning. They did not have enough pitching to make a run to the World Series. And the teams that do have the pitching are the ones making a run. Just look at what Houston's doing right now. When you get a rain delay in Houston, you get to face Cole, you get to face Greinke, you get to face Verlander. If you have to face those guys every game of a series, you're not going to beat that team. So
no, hindsight being 2020, Benny. Turning down Garrett Cole, wanting to hang on to Andujar, was that a mistake?
Humongous mistake.
But Benny, a year ago this time, or a year ago at the deadline, when Andujar was looking like a Rookie of the Year candidate, Cole wasn't also the pitcher that he is now. So back then, I remember Yankee fans, for the most part, saying they'd rather hang on to Andujar.
Yeah, well, Yankee fans say a lot of things, but a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. Pitching is what
very spoiled and very spoiled, entitled fans too.
Listen, pitching is what wins. It always has been what won. When the Yankees won, they didn't have when they went on that dynasty, when they ran everything in the 90s, it wasn't like they had the best lineup. They had good hitters, don't get me wrong. But they didn't have, Seattle Mariners every year had a better lineup than we did, with Ken Griffey Jr. and a young Alex Rodriguez and all those guys. But the reason the Yankees always moved on is because they had the pitching, and that's what we've kind of gotten away from right now. Like, yeah, it's great that you have this awesome bullpen, but you need a guy every once in a while who's going to go out there and give you 7 or 8 solid innings. The Astros get that every game. We get that maybe once a week. And it's always a different guy that does it. Like, you're not going to win in the playoffs that way. In the playoffs, you need to keep teams to 1 or 2 runs, and you need to get some hitting. So, that's what they really got to concentrate on in the offseason. You got enough offense on this team. You need to go get some pitching.
Another failed bet last night, Benny, was the Phil Lindsay touchdown bet. That was a part of my parlay. And we talked on the live stream about how invested you were in that last night. So I was thinking about you. So So what ended up happening was we went and we got some food, whatever. I went to the store. I got my beers and my papers and stuff like that. All my items, so I can go hang out in the garage. You know what I'm saying, with the Bluetooth in my phone, right? And just chill out there. So we come in here. I'm eating, chilling with them. You know what I'm saying? Talk to my daughter, whatever. And I by the time I get into the garage, it's about 8:45ish, and I say, "Oh, look, 1st and goal." How about this? This is going to be a great night. So I set it up, you know what I'm saying? And I get myself together, and Royce Freeman scores the effing touchdown. And at that moment, Benny, I thought to myself, the Broncos may not score another touchdown in this game.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought, and it scared the hell out of me with all that money on Philip Lindsay last night. Up to that point, Lindsay had all 7 carries inside the 5-yard line for the Denver Broncos this year. They decided they needed to get Royce Freeman a touchdown because he had the most carries without a touchdown of any back in the National Football League this year. It is what it is. They didn't get another chance the rest of the night to get down there that close. The offense looked horrendous. Kansas City's defense looked very, very good yesterday, to be honest with you. They basically just started blitzing and blew up the run, blew up any kind of passing game. The Broncos couldn't block them. Joe Flacco is a horrendous quarterback right now. He cannot move. He was basically a sitting duck in a pocket. He does not make good, quick decisions. The Broncos are as bad as we thought they were, Corey. I had a little –
the Titans last week, though, Benny, in a game where I was really, really heavy on the Titans. And they come out there and they look like what I figured they would look like last week.
So I've noticed something in the NFL this year, and it's kind of the way that I've started betting now. There is a huge difference between the teams that are good and everybody else. Not even the teams that are good and the teams that are bad. Just the teams that are good are very good, and everybody else is mediocre to fucking horrendous, basically.
Yeah.
So I am staying away from games with anybody who's not in the top tier of the league. Because to me, everybody else, they're just so close to each other, and none of them are good enough that you can – none of them are consistent enough that you can count on them. Like you said, Denver came out last week and beat what we thought was a pretty decent Tennessee team. And not even just beat them, like completely like demolished them, you know? Whereas Kansas City kind of struggled, but Kansas City kind of struggled in 2 games against other somewhat good teams. You know what I'm saying? Indianapolis and Houston. So good team versus good team I'm staying away from. Bad team versus bad team I'm staying away from. Which, and you'll see it this week in some of the teams that I picked, which means that I am laying a ton of points this week. And I have no problem laying these ton of points because I think the difference between teams that are actually good and teams that suck is so wide that I don't mind laying 10 points on teams that are good.
And I think that's a nice strategy, Benny, because listen, I would rather lay 9.5 than I would rather lay 2.5. Because that 2.5 can go either way. That 9.5 I know is a pretty good team.
Well, like you look this week, right? Like one of the games that I know you're high on, Atlanta and the Rams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I know you're on the Atlanta side, but even you have to admit that's a game that's kind of a toss-up.
It will not be in a parlay.
Yeah, like it.
That game in a parlay.
Like if the Rams wind up winning that game, you're not going to be shocked.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like if they don't, if Atlanta wins their covers, you'll be happy about it, but you're not going to be shocked if the Rams win. Like the San Francisco game, the Patriots game against the Jets, like if those teams lose, you're going to be shocked. You know what I'm saying? So I would rather take the 9.5 points with those teams who I know have good defenses, good coaching, and a solid offense that can put up some points, rather than mess with some of these games. Because I'm looking back at like the games that I've won and the games that I've lost over the last couple weeks with the bets that I've made. And like you said, all the games that are like 1 or 2 points, I'm like, lost a couple, won a couple. When I've been like, screw it, I'm gonna just bet on it, even though it's 13 points or even though it's 14 points, and I normally don't want to stay away from, I normally want to stay away from those. Those are all hitting. All those games that I liked where I'm like, screw it, I'll lay 13, 14 points with the Patriots and the Dallas against Miami and all these other games that we've been betting on this year. Those are the ones that are hitting for me. So I think we've gotten to a point where I don't know if you want to call it teams tanking or just the middle of the road teams just aren't that good to begin with. But I'm tired of messing with these middle of the road teams. I want to bet on the good teams playing bad teams and just take as many points, lay as many points as I have to lay to get it.
May not be a bad strategy, and we'll get to it and break it down and see how it goes for this week. Obviously, big story last night, the injury to Patrick Mahomes, MRI scheduled for the day. Didn't look good last night. Right now, the early things that we're hearing from the online doctors, my guy, Dr. A, we saw Stephania Bell post something last night. Your man, Dr. Cho, also. They all think that it's the kneecap dislocation, which they think is a 3-week injury, or at least a 3-week injury, all the way up until the rest of the season. Hearing reports that it doesn't think that this is going to require surgery, which is a good thing. But, Benny, the true results of the MRIs would count, and we'll get that later on today. And if you're invested in Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, early draft picks, if you're investing in Mahomes, these are going to be some nervous couple of hours coming up.
All right, so Corey, let's think about this, right? We talked about during the draft season, which pieces of the Chiefs offense that you want to own, right?
Yep.
So we talked about Mahomes, who is now out with an injury. I agree with you. This is going to affect Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce quite a bit. So that's going to ding both of them a little bit. And then our boy Damian Williams, as soon as LaShawn McCoy came on board, we've kind of saw the writing on the wall there where, Damian Williams is basically an afterthought, especially after last night.
If he don't get a touchdown, Benny, he's irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, Darrell Williams, I think, might have even ended up with more touches yesterday than Damian Williams did. I got to double check on that. But, yeah, I mean, it's LaShawn McCoy's backfield, and it's not a backfield where we're seeing a lot, of production up to this point right now. I would be very upset if I have a lot of Chiefs on my roster because, listen, Matt Moore is not Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to get the kind of production you got from him. You're probably not going to wind up seeing them put up as many points or even try to play as fast as they've been playing. You kind of saw a little bit of it in the second half already.
Yep.
In the second half last night, they already said, hey, you know what? We got a lead. Let's try to slow this down. Now, again, I know you're going to have a whole week of practice with Matt Moore, and they may wind up being a little more aggressive.
Matt Moore, son.
Yeah, he's not Patrick Mahomes. So I gotta think that everybody in this offense gets ticked down. And, I mean, we only mentioned the main guys right now, Corey. Pat Mahomes was so good that he was supporting guys like DeMarcus Robinson and McCole Hartman and Byron Pringle. Like, those guys were in play because of how good Mahomes was and how good this offense was with him behind it. Those guys are basically out of play for me now with Matt Moore on the center. If they can't support the big guys, how are they going to support all these underneath guys too?
No way that's possible to happen. So, obviously, you know what I'm saying? We got you covered right here. As we go through the week and push into the weekend and next week, trying to figure out what the situation is with the Kansas City Chiefs. Nothing you can do about it this week. They've already played. As far as the rest of that last night, Benny, I think we hit on everything we need to hit on. Kelce and Hill, they still were able to get it done. Didn't see nothing from the running backs. And on the Broncos side, it was a shit show.
Yeah, Courtland Sutton had a really big game. He hit 6 for 87. He's clearly the number one there. Emmanuel Sanders is a solid, secondary piece. But like I said, Joe Flacco is just really not good. Like, he's really not good. I don't know how else to say it. And the thing that still pisses me off, like, Phillip Lindsay is the more talented running back, and they're still going at a 50-50 split. Royce Freeman still seeing more passing down work, which makes no sense because that's actually something that Lindsay seems to be better suited for too. I don't know, man. I just like when you look at Denver, outside of as like a wide receiver 3, guys like Courtland Sutton and Emmanuel Sanders, or as a flex guy, maybe a Phillip Lindsay or a Royce Freeman. There's nothing in terms of fantasy that I would care about here.
No, it's definitely a tough call, and like you said, it's nothing that you can do with that. So this is one of the teams that, for the most part, you're out on. Maybe throughout the bye weeks or something like that. If you don't have any of their big guys, there's nothing really much to see there. Little college football tonight, Benny, and I want to talk about. Last night, told you about those early in the week unders.
Yep.
UCLA and Stanford. It finished a half point over, depending on what you got it at. If you got it at 50.5, you hit. If you got it at 49.5, you lost. The other game last night, Louisiana Lafayette and Arkansas State, the total was 69. I think it came in around 59 or something like that. Tense moments in that first half. It was like the Raging Cajuns could not be stopped. Tonight, the same theory does not play tonight, Benny, because you got the Ohio State Buckeyes playing tonight, and they could win by 2,000. But what I will tell you is there is a bet in this one that I do like, and that is the Ohio State team total. On FanDuel, I'm seeing it at at 38.5 away team total points. I believe they'll probably get somewhere around 45. So I would go over on the away team total points in that contest right there. And that is one of the games tonight. The other college football game tonight.
What is that overpaying? Is that minus 110 to get that?
That's minus 110, yeah. That's minus 110, minus 38.5.
I'll take that one.
You have another interesting you got Marshall and Florida Atlantic. This right here is funny. 6:30 start. Marshall is catching 5 on the road. That is likely the way I would go. If not, I would leave it alone. You do got an ACC matchup tonight, Pittsburgh and Syracuse. I would definitely take the under 52.5 on that one. Conference games unders hit at about a 60% clip so far on the season. And we got 2 conference opponents on a Saturday night. As far as college football for tomorrow, I did have a money line parlay that I was going to share with you all and include the Florida Gators. That is one of the teams. 1 second. Let me scroll down here and find the rest of them. It was the Florida Gators.
Money line?
Florida Gators minus 215. It was Cal minus 430. And I know Cal was in it. Let's scroll down here some more. It was Virginia minus 160. So that 3-team parlay right there is paying out at plus 193. That's Florida, Cal, and Virginia. You're parlaying 3 favorites, which is always a little bit risky, but I think this was a good one right here that will hit. I was listening to VSiN earlier last week, and they had the sportsbook operator from one of those Las Vegas casinos, and where they say they're getting killed at in college football this year is money line parlays with favorites.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of the favorites in college football tend to be favorites that are going to win pretty easily. There's, again, college football is turning into a lot like the NFL. There's the haves and the have-nots, and as long as you're betting on the haves when they're playing the have-nots, you usually end up in a pretty good spot.
There you go right there. Another game to get down on this week of college football, if you're on tilt on Saturday night, is Arizona catching 9.5 versus USC. That might be an interesting money line. Khalil Tate, Arizona's quarterback, has been getting healthier every week. And Khalil Tate, when he's healthy, if he can get it rolling, he's a guy that you could see in probably maybe the 2nd or 3rd round of the NFL draft. Real talented quarterback. So there goes your college football. And now let's head over, Benny, talk some NFL right quick. And I was listening to some stuff over last night and earlier this morning. Mm-hmm. Looks like Saquon Barkley is going to get a chance to play this week. I think I am slowly working towards a bet of the New York Giants parlayed with over 50.5 points.
So I have the Giants as one of my picks in the draft super pool this week. Yeah, they're only minus 2.5. So I'll take the Giants. Yeah, I'll take the Giants.
Those numbers are static, right, Benny? Those numbers don't move.
So not only are they static, but every one is a half a point because they don't want any ties.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times if the game falls on a 3, like, if you're looking at like the Vegas sports books and the game is at, the consensus is like minus 3, they'll either make it 2.5 or 3.5.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you're getting a hook. And this is one of those games where it was 3 when it came out earlier in the week and they decided to drop it to 2.5. So if you're going to I like the Giants anyway at minus 3. If you're going to give me the hook, though, I'm definitely taking it.
I agree with you 100% on that one. I think that's one of the smarter bets right there. Houston and Indianapolis, we talked about this one quite a bit this week right here. Interesting contest. If anything, Benny, if I fool with this, which I haven't made my mind yet, it'll probably be to take to lay that 1 point with the Indianapolis Colts.
I would probably do the same, but this is one of those games where I'm talking about. I'm not betting on 2 good teams playing each other. I'm not betting on 2 shitty teams playing each other. I want good teams against bad teams because that seems to be the only thing that's predictable so far this year. I could see this game going either way. If I had to choose, I would be on the Colts side, but I'm staying away from it.
As far as fantasy, Marlon Mack, T.Y. Hilton. Are you comfortable with Ebron and Jack Doyle going in the starting lineups?
No, because the problem is the 2 of them are cannibalizing each other's upside. So as long as both of them are out on the field, they're both getting snaps, they're both seeing a couple targets, neither one of them is going to have a big day. So really what you're doing is you're rolling the dice that you get a touchdown out of one of them. And if you're going to do that, take Ebron.
Will Fuller's a starter in the 12-team league, right?
Absolutely.
Kiki Kuti?
Do we know about Kenny Stills? Is Stills out?
I don't know what the latest on Kenny Stills is.
If Kenny Stills is out, Kiki Kuti is arguably like a wide receiver 4, so you could look at him as a flex play. But really, it just hasn't been there for him this year. And if Stills is playing, the snaps aren't going to be there for him, so there's no reason to even bother.
Jacksonville and Cincinnati. If you had to choose between Tate and Boyd, who are you playing?
I'm playing Tate because I'm pretty sure when I was looking at the matchups, the toughest spot on the Jacksonville defense currently, now that they got rid of Ramsey, is their nickel corner.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the matchup that Boyd's going to have right here. So if I'm playing one of them, it's going to be Auden Tate. Now, also remember, I'm a DFS player, and Auden Tate is he's not half the price anymore, but he's about 60% of the price of, Tyler Boyd. So I'm going to take the cheaper guy who I think has the better matchup.
Benny, I got a team with both players, and right now I got both of them in the lineup.
I mean, again, there's a lot of guys out on a bye week this week. We lose all the Cleveland wide receivers. We lose the Indianapolis wide receivers. We lose the Tampa Bay, or not the Indianapolis wide receivers, the Tampa Bay wide receivers. So there's going to be some guys. There's teams where you got to force some guys in. Hell, I almost played Deshaun Hamilton last night, Corey, because
I almost had too, Benny.
I'm glad I didn't, but I almost did.
So am I, brother. So am I. You know what I'm saying? Is this the team right here? No, this is not the team.
I do have to say I do love Jacksonville, though. I absolutely love Jacksonville in this game. I think it's even 3.5. I don't even mind giving up the hook on this one because Cincinnati is that bad of a team. Jacksonville is a team I think is pretty decent. Cincinnati is a team I know is very bad. So I'll take a decent team against one I know is very bad. Give me the Jags here. Another one of my teams for the Super Bowl.
Here is interesting. Okay, here's my lineup right here, Benny. Lamar Jackson, almost cursed. Damian Williams.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, who I kind of find a replacement for.
Yeah, I was going to say he don't play this week.
I know, Benny.
That's a problem.
The people on the bench don't play either.
That's a problem, yeah.
Justice Hill, and Justin Jackson, they don't play either, Benny. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be an issue. But then I have – all right, here's the wide receivers. T.Y. Hilton gets in the lineup, right?
Absolutely. Not even a question.
Then I have Terry McLaurin, James Crowder.
Play Terry.
Tyler Boyd and Auden Tate.
You definitely play Terry.
Yeah, I agree.
So now you're down to who? Jamison Crowder, Auden Tate, and Tyler Boyd?
Yeah.
How many do you need? You need a flex too? So you need two of those three?
I need a flex too.
So basically you're asking me to pick the one of those three guys you don't play.
Yeah.
For me, it's Crowder because of the matchup.
Really? You leave Crowder out and you go with both Bengal wide receivers.
Dude, I mean, I don't want to tell you to play two Bengals wide receivers. That's not ever good advice, but in this situation, on
the buy, Benny. So, you know what I'm saying?
No, I think in this situation, that's how you roll.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did it last week and I got a W. So, and the rest of the lineup is Mark Andrews and
I mean, I honestly think the Patriots have a top 5 defense. I'm not ready to say top 3 defense, but I mean they could honestly even be top 3. But I think they're going to end up a top 5 defense in the league this year. So I don't really have any faith in anybody wearing green. Again, I know I'm a cynical Jet fan and all that, but I don't have the faith in the Jets going out there and putting up a good show against Patriots this week.
I don't think I can knock you for that. The Rams and the Falcons we've talked about at depth this week. That number has dropped to -2.5. I'm going to take the Falcons plus 2.5. I'm also going to sprinkle the money line. Like I said earlier, this game will not be in any of my parlays this week. Atlanta's too shaky to put them in a parlay unless you're betting against them. Then it's a guarantee. The Gurley situation seems to be fluid. We talked last night, Benny, on this live stream about our buddy Chris Vaccaro saying that all 3 Rams wide receivers were WR1s this week.
Again, Atlanta's defense is that bad. So anybody in a Rams uniform is in play, and I honestly think anybody in an Atlanta uniform is in play because of the way that offense is. I love the over in this game, and I know it's the biggest total on the week. I think it's like 55. That hasn't moved.
I mean, it came down to 54.5.
All right, I'll take the half a point. That's fine by me. I absolutely love this game. I will have a ton of exposure in fantasy. I already bet the over in this game. And here's what we talked about last night, Corey. If you agree that all 3 of those Rams wide receivers have the ability to be wide receiver 1s this week, do you have to play Jared Goff at that point?
And that's the interesting part right there because I think Goff is a stiff. You know what I'm saying?
He may be, but he's a stiff that's thrown for 400, 500 yards in games before. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And he's going up against the Falcons who can't play defense. Yeah. And so I think Goff is viable this week. I'm not going to be starting him because I don't own him. But for the people that trust him, I think you probably withstood a couple bad weeks, you don't want to take him out now. He goes for 350 and 4. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I have him on one team, and I think I am putting him in there as a starter this week.
Miami and Buffalo, the Dolphins ain't shit. The Bills, Josh Allen is a guy you can start this week. I like Cole Beasley in a couple spots this week. Devin Singletary could get back in the lineup. Anything else on this one, Benny?
If you could find somewhere where it's a reasonable 14 or 15 point spread, take it. 17 plus, I can't do. And I know that I'm saying play the good teams when they play the bad teams, but I can't take 17 and a half.
Yeah, I don't know if Buffalo's a good team.
Agreed. Well, that's part of my problem with it. At least offensively, I don't know if this again, I don't expect Miami to put up more than 10, but I don't know if this offense can put up 28. So I'm kind of off of it, to be honest with you. But I do expect Buffalo to win. If you're playing one of those survivor pools, but if you haven't used Buffalo yet, good week to use Buffalo.
Minnesota and the Detroit Lions. Dalvin Cook, probably the top play in this game right here. I like Kenny Golladay a lot this week as well. That's really much the whole show. To those of you, obviously Adam Thielen is a starter. To those of you feeling good about Steph Diggs after the performance last week, be very careful with Steph Diggs this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. If you have Steph Diggs, Kenny Golladay, or Adam Thielen, they're probably all starting for you in season long. Am I looking for either one of those Viking guys in daily contest this week? Probably not. Kenny Golladay would be my favorite receiver in this game. And like you, I'm more on the Dalvin Cook side of it. So I'll have some Dalvin Cook in daily this week too.
I do like the Lions in this game. I'll catch that 1.5, and I'll hit that money line too. Same thing goes for Raiders and Packers. I like the Raiders catching this 5.5, and I would sprinkle the money line as well. We're still waiting to see what the deal is with Tyrell Williams. If Tyrell Williams plays, then I'll hit that money line.
Tyrell Williams, they ruled him out already, and Darren Waller was limited in practice yesterday.
So depending on how that Raiders situation shake out, I might be off that together. If the Raiders don't have those stars on offense, I like a big production from Josh Jacobs, but I probably would throw that Packers money line in the parlay in at minus 230.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm really watching the Waller thing because not having Tyrell Williams is a big deal to me already because the rest of their wide receiver crew is just not up to par. I mean, that's why they traded for Zay Jones to begin with, is they know that these guys are not NFL caliber wide receivers. So they're taking a chance on Zay Jones there. If Waller doesn't play too, though, I mean, I don't really see how they move the ball because if I'm the other team, I'm basically just going to stack the box and kind of beg Hunter Renfrow to beat me one-on-one down the field,
49ers in Washington, with Green Bay, the Allen Lazard thing is a thing this week. I like Lazard if he was able to scoop him up off the waiver wire. He goes into a starter's role. And like I said, depending on Benny, what the Raiders do as far as their injuries is when I'll make a play on the game. San Fran and D.C. I love San Fran laying this 9.5. And obviously Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida are pretty good starts this week also. I can see both of them having big games this week.
Yeah, I talked about it yesterday. San Fran is kind of my linchpin bet team this week. I got them in a lot of parlays. I got them straight up. I use them in a lot of my teasers. This is the situation I'm talking about, Corey. I want good teams playing crappy teams that you can expect the good team to be consistent and show out and put in a good showing. So I'm expecting San Francisco to put in a good showing here. I think Washington's already crappy. Something to keep an eye on if you're looking for like a long shot play for DFS or if you're really in a bad spot and you need some running back help this week. It looks like Chris Thompson is going to miss this game, which would mean Wendell Smallwood, former Philadelphia Eagle running back, would be the passing down guy. And I don't think Adrian Peterson is going to have the kind of, production he had last week against a really crappy Miami defense, which means they're probably going to be trailing. They're probably going to be pass heavy. I would not be shocked if Wendell Smallwood puts up 10 PPR points this week on the back of 5 or 6 catches and like 40 yards.
Benny, that was amazing. As you're talking, I'm getting my telephone.
And you're picking up Wendell Smallwood?
No, I'm picking up I picked up my telephone, and I'm about to read this to you from the Beat Writer survey I do for The Athletic.
Okay.
For PPR owners needing an RB, keep an eye on Wendell Smallwood. Signs aren't great for Chris Thompson as of now, as of Thursday. While Peterson is the lead back, Smallwood will handle the passing down duties in the game. Washington likely trails in. There you go.
Listen,
right.
There are some people who are good at their job, and there are some people who are very good at their job. I happen to be in the latter category, being very good at my job. So that's my job. That's why you guys tune in to listen here.
So there you go, right there. Another one. Trevor Davis, wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders, is the guy that was brought up in the beat writer survey this week as a player that can get some additional targets. So if you're in, a 12-team and greater league and struggling at wide receiver, that can be an option. And don't forget Wendell Smallwood. I should pick Wendell Smallwood up right now.
You should.
As soon as we're done with this, I'm going to do that Wendell Smallwood play. Because that could be something that save a week for you right there. The Chargers and the Titans, no bet on me for this one. Me and you talked on the live stream yesterday about the love for Corey Davis this week. I don't know why. Ryan Tannehill does not excite me at all.
He's $4,000 on DraftKings. That's why. That's why he's getting low. That's why you're hearing a lot of fantasy guys talk about him. But even at $4,000, it's not like he's safe.
Yeah, exactly. And it's Ryan Tannehill. Even at home, I think I still would look at the Chargers money line in this one, but that's probably a no bet because you don't know what these shit teams are about.
Two bad teams. This is what I'm talking about. Two bad teams. You're just trying to decide whose shit smells worse, and there's no reason to do that.
Ravens and Seahawks, you already know the drill. Lamar Jackson, Chris Carson, Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett. Good to see if Hollywood Brown gets out there. I think he's a good starter. As far as the number goes, I'm going to go with the road dog in Baltimore. I would like it at 3.5. I'll take it at 3. I'll play for the push.
Did it come down to 3?
It's at 3.
I'm taking Seattle. That's what I've been waiting for all week. I said if it gets to 3 on Seattle, I'd be willing to play Seattle. I don't want to take more than 3 on them because if you look through their game logs, they never win by more than 3. It's always Seattle slows games down and makes it a fourth quarter game where they can put the ball in the hands of Russell Wilson so that he can go win them games. And more often than not, as long as it's not the Super Bowl and they're not passing on the 1-yard line, he gets it done.
New Orleans Saints, Chicago Bears. We've talked about a lot this week. The Bears have actually moved now to -3.5, making that Saints side even more tempting. I'm all over the Bears on this one right here, Benny. I'm laying at 3.5. It will not be in any parlays, though. But Allen Robinson's an excellent play this week, in my opinion. That's really it outside of the Bears defense.
See, the thing that scares me, I was on the Saints side. The Saints side had taken a lot of money early in the week, too. A lot of bets and a lot of the money early in the week.
But the line is moving towards their favor. Exactly.
Yes. And on top of that, we talked about it the other day. Alvin Kamara, all right, maybe he plays, but they know he's not 100% because they already went out and got Zach Zenner to give them some more running back depth, which to me says even if Kamara plays, he's not going to play up to his full speed. And really, there's only 2 guys that carry the Saints offense. One of them's Kamara. The other one's Michael Thomas.
No love for Teddy Bridgewater?
Who's he throwing the ball to? If I told you, listen, this isn't like the, 2013 Vikings here. If I told you Teddy Bridgewater and Latavius Murray were the starting backfield going up against the Bears defense right now, which is basically what we have today here, you betting on them? Because I'm not.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Who they play in the playoffs that year?
Oh, I don't remember. But you remember when the 2 of them were the starting backfield, right?
Yeah, they lost. Remember they had the Seahawks beat and Son missed the kick. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They had the Seahawks beat, and Seahawks would have 1 seed that year. And our old boy missed the kick. They would have eliminated the Seahawks. I'm a Teddy Bridgewater guy. I was just teasing when I say you're not going to mention Teddy Bridgewater, but that offense is Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. Teddy Bridgewater is just getting those 2 gentlemen the ball. Yep. Sunday Night Football. Oh, God. I probably won't end up betting this game, Benny, because I'll be so. This is gonna be interesting Sunday night here. Put it like that. This is a Philadelphia Eagle household, and I may have to go someplace and watch this one, Benny. But Michael Gallup's a good bet this week. Ezekiel Elliott, obviously. Jason Witten always scores against the Philadelphia Eagles. If you got some tight end issues, and on Philadelphia's side, Benny, you're going to have to handicap that one because I'm playing Miles Sanders in a couple leagues, but other than that, I really don't want to see these Eagles.
So there's a lot of injuries on the Dallas team. It looks like the tackles are going to play, so that's going to be good for the ground game.
They can last through the whole game.
Yes, but it looks like the wide receivers are not going to be playing other than Michael Gallup. So I agree with you. Michael Gallup's a great play because Philly's secondary definitely a way you want to pick on them. And Gallup might be their only starter that's in there because Randall Cobb and Amari Cooper have been sitting out practices this week. So, Gallup is a good play on that side. On the Eagles side of it, I mean, again, if the cornerbacks for Dallas are all banged up, I think you want to look at a guy like Alshon Jeffrey on the outside here. Still looks like Deshaun Jackson's not going to be back here. Obviously Zach Ertz is the the guy that sees the most targets, so he's always
going to be big games against Dallas.
Yeah, and I could see him having another one because this is a game where I think they are going to have to go to the air and kind of throw the ball a little bit. I just really don't like the running game for the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles' running game does much. Again, my biggest beef with Sanders is the same beef I've had with him since day one. As long as Howard's around, he's not going to get the volume I need to really love this guy. So to me, he's the better of the two to play, but he's still nothing more than a flex.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. With Benny.
Uh-oh. What are you signing me up for right now?
Oh, no. This is somebody asking about you. I can try that.
I really want to know what the hell that text says right now. If it's about me,
Nando. That's our buddy Nando.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, cool.
He's asking me if I got some time to do something, and I'm like, I got all day after I'm done with Benny. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to our boy Nando. We love Nando around here.
Nando, yo, let me tell Nando Benny says hello.
Nando, for those of you who don't know, Nando DeFino. Nando's the man. Worked with Corey and I in a couple different places from serious stuff to FNTSY stuff, and Corey still works with him over at the Athletic now. Nando's a good dude.
Nando's the best cast. You got to get a night in Hoboken, drinking and shit like that.
Those are always fun.
Yeah, those are always fun. And we get a night in Hoboken drinking. But now it's so far because I'm not coming right back into Manhattan now, so we got to get an earlier start. You know what I mean? You
got to take the LIRR to get there right now. It's a lot different than when you just hop on the subway.
Yo, Benny, it's crazy the couple nights. First of all, like now going to Manhattan is like going to a third world country. It's like I gotta go where? You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no easy and there's no cheap way to get there from Long Island. Like, dude, when we flew out from JFK.
Yeah,
so we had to drive.
Yeah,
we had to drive all the way out there. Yo, that is a horrible trip to take at rush hour, man. It took us like over an hour to get there. I was like, and honestly, it's like 10 miles away. I'm like, how does it take me over an hour to get 10 miles?
No, it's a terrible trip. Every time I've flown out of JFK, I've ended up missing that flight. But now JFK is down the street. How crazy is that? Nah. And I probably still would miss the flight because JFK is, speaking of third world countries, JFK might as well be one.
You know what's funny, man? When I don't travel outside the country very often, but one of the things that I noticed and like was a glaring difference. I mean, I go to JFK, LaGuardia occasionally, and Newark most of the time when I'm flying. Dude, those airports suck compared to airports in like other major like cities. Like the airports in all like the major cities we visit in Europe were beautiful. Like there was no graffiti on the walls. There was no like cigarettes and dirt and trash lying around everywhere. Like the airports in America suck, man. We really need to up our airport game.
No, especially here in the city. What I will say though, LaGuardia is getting ready to turn the corner. Later on in 2020, the reconstruction of LaGuardia, some of the new areas are going to be opening in 2020. So LaGuardia is almost going to be like a regular airport, while the rest of the airports in this area, like you said, Benny, you would think you was in Guatemala. No disrespect to my Guatemalan listeners. All right. Benny, we was going to talk some NBA Rookie of the Year odds. Let's save that for Monday. The season starts on Tuesday next week. Let's get ready to get up out of here now. Big Piece of Chicken. I am going to give Big Piece of Chicken to, it slips my mind. I feel like, you know what, I know we've done it earlier already a couple weeks ago, but last night, CC Sabathia more than likely walked off the Yankee Stadium mound for the last time. So tip of the cap and a Big Piece of Chicken to my man CC Sabathia.
Yeah, I'm going to wind up giving mine, I think, to Tyreek Hill. That 57-yard touchdown that he had yesterday put him over his receiving yardage total of 72 by 2 yards. It was 72.5 was his receiving yard total, Corey. Finished with 74 total receiving yards, so it cashed the over on that one for me. So
give it to Matt Moore then.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, Matt Moore really deserves it, but Tyreek Hill is the one who made us the money, so Tyreek Hill's the one who gets the big piece of chicken.
All right, there you go right there. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Have good luck over Saturday and Sunday. We'll be back here Monday. NBA starts next week. Don't forget, NBA DFS has the Elite Fantasy NBA package starring my main man, Benny Rad, and some of the other greats over there. And your man, Brian, the Brandon Healy dude, right? He's going to be doing
that. Yeah, it'll be Haley, DC, Thad, and I are going to be doing most of the live streams for it. Yeah.
There you go right there. And that's how you make some money. But you got to sign up for it first over at Elite Fantasy. All right, so we got you ready to get up out of here. Y'all enjoy the weekend. The opening line. We are out.